and relive it every single time a dog barks, every time I see an officer 500 yards from me. I will never call 911 again.
Ethan Nicholas says he ended up with a police taser pointed right at him after he called 911 when he witnessed an assault. Nicholas says the interaction has left him traumatized.
I was the only black person there, and that's what he saw as the threat.
In May, Nicholas saw a man get aggressive with a woman outside her apartment. He called police and tried to intervene. But when the officer showed up, Nicholas says he was told to go back inside. When Nicholas tried to explain that this wasn't his apartment building, that he couldn't go back inside because he didn't have any keys, he tells City News that's when the officer drew his taser and pointed it right at him.
How is this happening? How is this happening? How is this happening? Am I about to die?
Nicholas's partner was watching the incident unfold from her balcony. She says she ran down the stairs when she saw the taser and put herself between Nicholas and the officer.
And I opened the door and I yelled at the officer and I said, "How dare you? We're the ones who called."
The suspect who Nicholas originally called the cops on was later charged with uttering threats, causing a disturbance, and assault. So then why was the taser drawn on Nicholas instead of the man now facing charges? We reached out to an EPS spokesperson for answers. They tell us when the responding officer showed up, both men were uncooperative and became increasingly agitated, adding he demanded the men separate several times, but they continuously refused to follow directions. And that's when the officer drew his taser on Nicholas, saying at the time the officer was still unsure of who was responsible for causing the initial disturbance, and his efforts were focused on de-escalation. Nicholas wasn't harmed physically. More than 6 weeks later, he says he's still suffering from emotional and psychological trauma.
If I am having a heart attack, I will not risk an officer showing up to my house. I will have to die because of this.
Today, Nicholas wants accountability. It's taken him a few weeks, but he's now in the process of filing a complaint with EPS's Professional Standards Branch. In Edmonton, Rochelle Sufi, City News.